points equals flights, flights equals business class, and then you can do so much more.
Yes, we're creating this membership to help people fly and experience joy.
We think of business class as comfort and productivity.
Founders and business owners are lonely and isolated. So some of those calls are, I haven't had a holiday for 3 years with my family. Well, we get to unlock those opportunities for them.
Whenever you go overseas and you bring back something amazing, either to your business or to your family, if we can get you traveling more, you come back happier.
Incredible, life-changing experiences that are just not the back of the brochure. Golf safari in Africa. Yes, we can make it happen.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the next episode of Always Business Class. I'm Steve Hui, the Points Whisperer, and I co-host it with Steve Pirie-Nally.
The Wonder Pilot.
The Wonder Pilot. Yeah. Yes, the Wonder Pilot. Thank you very much. Well, actually, linking to that is the reason why we're doing this episode today is Steve has had about 150 discovery calls since we launched in
October. Yeah, we kicked off, and 150 discovery calls with amazing Australian business owners from every sector. We crossed agriculture, construction, accounting, services, sports tech, you name it.
Massive range. And that's what I love about our business is that we work with all different business owners in all walks of life. People often ask us if there's any industries, and there's no industry because every business spends money.
I definitely think there's some industries that have maybe more of a competitive advantage when we're looking at like surcharges and being able to absorb surcharges. But at the end of the day, every business that's high growth or growing has expenses and growing expenses. It's a common denominator.
And then those expenses can be used to earn points. Points equals flights, flights equals business class, and then you can do so much more. So in this episode, the whole purpose is that after those 150 discovery calls, what we did, we used a bit of AI. We put the transcripts in and we asked it, what are some of the most common questions that people ask Steve before deciding the flights club, or even just thinking about points? So I think this should be a good episode, quite useful, because we're going to cover a whole heap of Q&A. So listen in, and if there's any questions that we didn't answer, let us know and we'll include it in a future episode. So therefore everything gets answered and you never die wondering.
Or jump on a discovery call and ask the questions direct. But I think one of the questions that come through, and let's get the elephant in the room, is this a scam? No, it's not. We've been around for 12 years. And I think, as I mentioned, it's like at the end of the day, Steve's an accountant. It's a numbers game. And if the numbers don't work, he wouldn't have been around for 12 years. So I think, there are a lot of people out there that are posting on social media and everything else for quick wins. This is not quick wins. It's about building an actual blueprint and knowing the inside and how to operate on the front end, which we talk about, like how do you accumulate points the most economical way. And then on the other side, that is the hardest part, is actually finding the seats and making sure that you're redeeming points the most economical and the best way possible. So that's kind of the biggest question, is the scam.
Yeah. Well, I guess some people probably think it's a scam because what they've done is just the concept of there's no such thing as a free lunch. So that's the first finger wall.
The mindset, totally.
But the thing is, if you fly in business class, you do get a free lunch in there. But that's a bit of a segue.
And some bubbles with that as well.
So people think it's a scam because they go, well, how can this be true? How can I fly business class for cheap? But because the key thing about the understanding is to think about points and cash are two separate tracks. There's two separate tracks that are designed by airlines and their frequent flyer programs to enable people to fly. And when you're paying cash, of course, everyone's bought a cash ticket, so they understand it goes up and down depending on supply and demand, seasonality. But points ticket is actually something which your airline had predicted will be seats available. And these seats they don't want to sell for cheap. No business, no airline wants to sell something for cheap. So therefore, there's no such thing as last minute discounting. So your airlines have all this data, and from every single flight, every single route, every single period, they have data to know how well that flight will sell. So based on prediction, they can say that we think there will be 6 business class seats not sold on this flight. So rather than just sell it to the market and hope for the best, they allocate those 6 seats to the frequent flyer program and allow frequent flyers to book that seat. So that's where these seats come from. One thing to add is booking a seat on points is a fully paid ticket. So you're not a second-class citizen. You're not going to get booted off. You hold the exact same rights as a fully paid cash ticket, because what you paid is points. You paid the price that they asked for. They said, here's the cash price if you pay that. Here's the points price and you pay that. So I think a lot of people sometimes feel like flying a points ticket, you're actually not the same rank. You're exactly the same.
No, you're probably a better rank too in regards to like, and I think we've had a number of podcast recordings today to kind of kick off the year. And obviously these will be released over the next 6 weeks. But yeah, certainty, right? What people are seeking right now is certainty and understanding versus discovery of like, it's you're busy enough running your own business, trying to grow and scale the complexities of growing a business to add on this points thing, which has become harder, not more simple. When we talked about that with Emily at Accor, it's like trying to simplify things, and that's what we are here to do in regards to like trying to simplify and change people's mindsets around this sort of points trauma.
And to explore using points as a system that coincides with your cash tickets as well.
Yeah.
So we're not saying that your points tickets will replace all your cash tickets. Well, in some cases we have actually some of our clients, we have completely moved them to a points first model and some cash. But I think the thing about points is it's about understanding rather than sort of like dismissing, it won't work. Actually, it can work, but you got to give it a go.
And I think what you mentioned as well is the Australia's got a competitive disadvantage, but also on the flip side, it's got the competitive advantage depending on which way you look at things. And I'm playing reference into how expensive business class and first class travel is because we are so far away from anywhere. Those premium tickets, even more so post-COVID, are only going up in price. They're not coming down. We all expected with more capacity, those flights will come down. But when people got used to flying comfortably, there's no going back.
No.
So those fares are now, even in the States, we're seeing 10, 11, 12K, and they're not coming down. So actually the competitive advantage to that is when you understand points and to be able to, so the cost versus benefit. So maybe you just want to double click on that with a lot of people not kind of understanding that cost versus benefit, this advantage that we have around points.
Perfect time to talk about that, because actually the crust of everything we do, in a way, the crust of any business decision is cost versus benefit. If I'm going to spend this money on marketing, what is the cost and what is the benefit? So same idea of points. And the target is a business class flight. So of course you can use your points to fly economy. Actually, you can use your points to fly any class. But economy is not really our aim, because you fly in economy all the time. And actually, the thing about economy is that it's actually getting harder and harder. Not harder in the sense that getting a ticket, harder is that the journey is being made tougher. Maybe tough is the better word to fly economy. So that's why business class is our target market. So cost versus benefit. So if you were to want a business class ticket to Los Angeles, it sells for $10,000. So the two choices you got, you either pay $10,000 and you fly business, or you pay maybe $2,500 to fly economy. But what if you can get the same business class ticket for less than $10,000? With points, you can get it for about $4,200. So now you have three solutions. You either fly economy for $2,500, you can fly business class on points for $4,200, or you can fly business class on cash for $10,000. So in a way, that is probably the easy answer. Using points gives you business class comfort, but not at business class prices. And how do we get that? It's because in the point system, what they do, and one of the biggest attractions of using points is they fly for a fixed price. So when you pay your cash price goes up and down, depending on demand, seasonality, and many factors. When you fly in points, it will cost you exactly the same number of points to fly there. I call that same flight, same price. It's very hard to understand because there's nothing else in the world that is the same thing, same price. Because when you think about currency, when you think about coffee, when you think about coffee, it seems to be going up every day. But the thing about points is that it will cost you the same number of points to book the same distance same class on the same airline every time.
And I think that still takes a lot of time for these discovery calls to get their head around, because we're just so used to, again, we love to talk about psychology and mindset. They're so used to paying dynamic pricing in regards to their business owners. They've last minute booking, they've got to go to Europe, and they're paying absolutely through the nose because that's how the system is not.
And that's what's been charged, right? And then they had to make a decision.
Yeah.
Do I pay through the nose or do I not go?
Yeah. And then that's a decision that could impact the scale of the business, where we have always saying points is not 100% the solution, but having a blueprint and an option, which you just shared, the 3 options, is if you know you're going to that conference in Europe every year and you've got that date a year in advance, that's when you book your tickets. And I love how when our events come up, Steve's the first one to
I'm booking my tickets straight up.
Book the flights 24 hours. And I think what I can share with those discovery calls is the other thing with points bookings is, again, we've had this cancellation trauma of cash tickets in the past, or change trauma. When you change your mind, you get penalized by the airline. We know airlines make a lot of money, whereas points trauma, commitment trauma. So we're having a therapy session today here at the Flights Club. So talk about the other added benefits of using points. On the flip side, you got to cancel a trip.
Yeah, because I think it's natural for humans to not want to commit to something. So because you want optionality, the most luxury optionality is luxury. If you have multiple choices that you can choose from, that's the luxury.
Well, that comes to points freedom, right?
That's the freedom. And the 2 key features, apart from the fact that it costs the same points to fly to the same place on the same airline every time you can find a seat, is that you have the ability to cancel. So points. So when COVID hit and there was a massive issue with getting refunds. So some airlines were not giving you refunds. Some airlines will give you credit, restricted credit, all that sort of stuff. Well, we had a lot of customers that we had booked on points. Sadly, we had to cancel all their tickets. But part of the rules of a points ticket is if you cancel your ticket more than 24 hours before departure, you get your points and ticket taxes refunded. Refund. There's no arguing with the airline. No. There's no begging to get a refund. That is part of the ticket conditions.
So we had some very happy customers during COVID, right?
They got all their points back, and we've since booked them all on other trips. Yeah,
and I think another thing that comes up in the discovery calls is like, I've tried this so often. I've got points sitting there, but whenever I go to find seats, they're never there. And then social media also blows that up, and media, in regards to like trying to find seats is extremely hard. How do we resolve that here at the Flights Club?
Yeah, so it's about process and systems. So finding point seats, the way I describe it's like fishing. So many times you see all these guys at a fisherman at the wharf. They're none of them are professional. They're all like throwing their hooks in, and one guy's catching a fish, and the other guy goes, "Well, my hook was right next to you. How come I'm not catching a fish?" And that's the same idea. Is that you got to know what you're doing. And I guess with anything, you got to know what you're doing. So especially with points, is number one thing is finding point seats like fishing. Seats change every day. Every single day, there are new, fresh batch of seats available. So the seat you're looking for you could be looking for 5 weeks and there'll be no seat. Suddenly, there'll be a seat.
And that's a great thing we have with our team that's spread across time zones, because also
we are searching for
it's
you.
It's a 365, 24-hour a day airline.
Sure. Just 24 hours a day.
Oh, no. In regards to how the airlines operate.
Oh, yes, yes.
It could be an airline releasing seats at 5 o'clock New York time. That's 2 a.m. our time. Yeah. So the actual
we just got a system where we're constantly searching for you, so you don't have to.
Yeah, we've got the big trawler out there. That's what we do day in and day out. We need to find the fish. And
we've got a lot of rods in the water. Then the second thing is about finding seats is that different programs offer different seat availability. So if you're one person that just focuses on one airline, and you're only searching once in a while, that's just like you're fishing with one rod in the water, and then you can only catch as much as you can. But if you have access to multiple airline points, which means that every single airline has their own availability, and then you also layer that with frequent searching across multiple airlines. Now I'm hoping I can help you paint a picture that Now you've got multiple rods in the water, all fishing at the same time. And then that means that it's more likely you're going to catch fish. And that's our system. So basically, we're taking that out of your hands and we deliver the fish.
If we're staying on the fishing analogy as well, the next thing that comes up is like, yep, I'm pretty good with points. I'm just don't have enough time to be able to do it. And then we kind of, on those discovery calls, we really want to understand more about the business owner. It's not just about points. It's actually how they travel. Do they travel with family? Where are they going? Because it's not just about how many points they can earn, because actually it comes down to like how many points you need. And without it's just like growing a business.
The right balance.
The right balance. And then we ask the question is like, have you used points to book travel? And they're like, yeah, totally. It was great. We've been going business class every year for 1 million points per seat. Then sometimes it's like, how much bait do you feed to catch one fish? So maybe you want to touch on that. And
yeah, it's an interesting thing because, I think you touched on an interesting point is, I think that is actually the biggest misconception when people say, I've used points. So that's like saying, I've tried sushi. Well, what did you eat and how fresh was it and in what quality? So I think it's an overarching brush is people go, I've used points and it was bad. Well, then the only thing I can feel is, well, I've used points and it's good. So somehow there's a disconnect between the two. And I've used points for 13 years and it's been good, awesome. So which means that someone else's experience of using points, they must have just done it poorly. Because if they've done it the right way, they will not ever have a poor experience, because that must mean that they must have spent a lot of points, which then they calculated was a bit of a rip-off, and then they go, well, this is a rip-off. But actually, they wrongly blame points as the problem. But actually, what was the problem was they used it poorly because the system was complex. So it's not their fault that they used it poorly. The system does not help you use the points. They just let you use them.
And then it becomes an emotional purchase, right? Where you feel like you've got all these points and that you've started the search that you need to catch a fish, no matter what size.
Yeah.
Because I need to go back with something, and then you do a stupid purchase.
And then you lose that discipline in knowing that this trip should only be X number of points. And if it's anything else.
So I think one of the things that set people up for success we've been so fortunate and lucky in the first 3 months to have some incredible members join us from all across Australia, across every sector. And for me, it's just an absolute dream getting to learn about Australian businesses, whether it's a new headstone business for pets that are doing $10 million a year to
Talking Stones
to FMCG brands that are growing that you haven't heard of. I think, yes, we're creating this membership to help people fly and experience joy, both on the way there and when you get there. So that's the whole journey destination side of things. But I think there's just so much more to the Flights Club that we get to share with people, is that at the end, founders and business owners are lonely and isolated. So we actually help inspire them to go traveling. So some of those calls are, I haven't had a holiday for 3 years with my family. I really want to do this. Well, we get to unlock those opportunities for them.
And access to really experience. A lot of business owners that we come across is they've been running the business for many, many, many years. And they've gone through the beginning stages, they've gone through the growth stages, and now they're moving to a bit more mature stage also, which they can now start taking some time off because they have good staff or people running their teams. So now they have more time. So now is the right time to get on board and say, well, if now you have more time, why not turn your expenses, because you're paying them anyway, turn your expenses, earn the points, use the points to fly for cheaper than it will cost you to spend money on it. So in a way, it's sort of like a no-brainer, but it truly is a cost versus benefit exercise. It's about knowing how the system works and knowing how the system doesn't work. So you can slot your style to match, and then
and who we're for and who we aren't for as well. I think is if you're still consistent and wanting to fly economy, then potentially it's not the right fit. But if it's in regards to buying back your time, and also getting access and also opportunities to have experiences that you never thought you'd have before, then that's, I think, where we unlock, if we're talking ROI, that's the greatest ROI, the
travel.
return on experience, not just return on investment. It's the experiences that they're creating from the input they're putting into their businesses. I think that's...
What are some other quirky questions that you might get asked in your calls that you think, why would you think that?
I think another one of the myths, if we're talking myths out there, is that people just don't think they have enough points. They just come through and they're like, oh, I do construction at Bunnings. We're a service-related business. I just don't think we've got enough. Until, do you understand you can get points on payroll?
Yeah.
Do you but there's a surcharge that, and then it comes 360 to the cost versus benefit. And then everyone thinks there's this big cost to earn points through Amex because that's what's fed to us. But actually there's all these other vehicles and instruments specifically designed for Australian business owners to optimize and accelerate and supercharge. So I think that's the biggest myth out there, is they don't actually understand their earning potential and how quickly they can go from zero to hero.
I think as you're talking about it, I was imagining sort of like a Venn diagram, like three circles.
Yeah.
So one is, I think the most important thing is that you got places you want to go. Mm-hmm. So there's trips you want to do.
Yep.
That's the most important, because if you don't have trips, then there's no point marking out points. And then the second one is you got trips, and the one before that is that you want to fly business class. You don't want to fly economy. You want to fly business class, not because of luxury. We think of business class as comfort and productivity and actually control.
And longevity. We're going to throw that in there.
We're going to throw that in. Yeah. We're talking about that in a sec. So you want to fly business class, not because you're there for the luxury. You're there because you fly business class because you want your own space, your own control. And you're living a life that you're controlling anyway. Mm. And then the last one is, well, how do you generate these points? How do you generate enough of these points such that you can fund the trips you want to do? Mm. And when people say, well, they don't think they can earn enough points, like we have a calculator on our website that talks about how much you spend, how many points you can generate. Well, actually, now we worked out that even if you spend, say, $500,000 in the expenses, we can earn you anywhere between $500,000 to 1.5 million points now. So,
but I'm going to kind of interject you there in regards to a lot of people. 500,000 is a too big a number for some people. Yeah. But then, because in their mind it's 500,000 of expenses, they might be but they might be a very service related business without conventional expenses. It's payroll, BAS, and ATO. So then it's actually opening up the question wider to go, how much are you paying on payroll? And then they're like, oh, of course, I spend 1.5 million. So again, that's one of the biggest discovery calls. People think they're sitting in this bracket, which is like, okay, that's only 2 business class tickets a year. Until they're like, what? You can earn points on all of this. They then 3x.
And I think a lot of people think about, oh, do I have to spend $500,000 on travel?
Oh, yeah. That's another myth.
I think that's where
I don't do that much travel for work. And we're like, no. This is the competitive advantage for business owners to do both personal or business leisure or generating points.
Yeah. So the generate points because you can. You've got expenses to pay. Use those points for travel and use it for travel that's cheaper than you would use cash for.
And that's why we're very much built from 12 years and billions of points for the Australian business owner, because that is the competitive advantage you have, is that you have 10x the employee run rate and journeying. So
I do want to help every Australian fly business class, but it does come back to the numbers. That's why we focus on business owners. Like if we can help an individual earn 1 million points a year, that will be absolutely awesome. But we can't, because there's no mechanism to do that. But we can help a business owner earn 1 million points a year because they have the expenses. So we're just basically trying to help the audience that can be helped. Ideally, if I can, at one point in time, is help anyone who wants to fly business class with points. That will be my dream.
Yeah, that's when the accountant of 12 years comes in handy.
Well, you never know.
Just knowing the numbers, and I think what we're going to be able to educate and teach more people is around the mass. Like, it's once you understand it, it's just like riding a bike, but sometimes it takes a longer time to learn to ride a bike or drive a car. But once you get off the P plates and the L plates, it becomes just a blueprint. And I think the Flights Club blueprint, which we'll be announcing soon, it is really exciting, because there are people out there that thrive and love this. There might be a small percentage, but people have the time and they get the thrill out of understanding the blueprint. And for the first time in 12 years,
share it to more people.
We're unleashing the
every
blueprint.
Customer we've had, actually customer or non-customer in the last 12 years, who's taken the time to work with me and understand the numbers, they've never gone back. Because if you could now find a way to fly for cheaper than what you used to, like, why would you go back? It literally, it is like riding a bike. It literally is like, once you get it, you're never going backwards.
Totally. And it's fixed. It's not dynamic. Sure, there might be stories out there in regards to points devaluation, everything else. But there's more people flying more business class on points than there ever has been. And it's only going this way.
Well, I think that in terms of devaluation is life happens. Yeah. So if you go, I'm going to wait until whatever, then that means that you missed out on, in a way, I also feel like it's make hay when the sun shines. So things will always increase in price. Points will always increase. But you always hear the stories of, well, if I started 10 years ago, I would be able to fly X number of flights. But that doesn't mean today is totally rubbish. Today, there's value in every stage. So at the end of the day is, if using points to fly business class is cheaper than money, well, what other option do you have? Money's not getting cheaper.
Yeah, totally. I'm just looking at our page and notes from, I know we're going to try and keep this on time, so I'm going to try and speed up some of these discovery insights that we have from 150 business owners. Are points even worth it anymore? I talk about that devalue thing. Are points worth it anymore? Yes, no.
Well, yes, because ultimately the comparison is cost of using points to fly versus cost of money to fly. I think that's it. I think there's no point thinking about what points used to cost. That's the past. It's today.
And we've got this competitive advantage of being so far away from the world that there's no better time to use points to fly up the front of the plane.
And when you work with us, we help you make sure that we get you the most cost-effective way.
Yeah.
So therefore, points always beats money.
Do you need millions of points to fly business class?
Not unless you want to fly millions of times, but like it really comes down to your balance.
Yeah.
How many flights you want to do, where you want to go, and how many points you can generate.
But so
there'll be a balance.
But how many people spend $1 million on $1 million points on one ticket? That's what I was kind of getting. People think it's 1 million points per ticket, but actually, what are we finding?
Well, actually, you can fly. I think top of mind is business class return to Los Angeles, about 250,000 points return. Business class return to Europe, about 330,000 points return. That's the number.
I think we had a discovery call where a gentleman was flying and he's like, I used my full 3 million to fly the three of us. So it was $1 million each.
I'm like, how many times?
So we actually onboarded him and booked him seats for him and his family and now baby 4 for I think just over 1 million points.
Yeah, so getting 4 times the value at least.
So again, it's just taking time to pause and understand and know the mass. I think you just covered that. If someone is time poor, what's the simplest way to judge whether points are worth their attention?
Okay, so I guess maybe that's a greater answer in like, well, if someone only wants to fly certain flights and on a certain time, certain day, certain route, then maybe cash is better for them. Because that's what cash is for. Cash means that you pay to get exactly what you want. Points is something you use if you are a little bit flexible and you preference saving money rather than the specificness.
And let's face it, we're got a really cool announcement to make in the next few months in regards to like, we want to be able to give people the 3 options. So there's nothing worse than going searching for something, not finding what you want, and then having to search again to then find, and it becomes this
just too much
decision
work.
paralysis. Where we'll get to the point is like there are going to be times, depending on the year, as Turkish Airlines have got some fantastic cash. Qatar Airlines certain times, as we are that agnostic partner. We don't get paid commission from airlines or credit cards. We just want the best option. So if we can find a $6,800 fare in December low season,
and we'll tell you if cash is better. But it's quite rare though. But if cash is better, we'll say, hey, cash is better.
Yep.
Save your points.
Always do but if you're earning points for free and not paying a surcharge, then 100% it's not the best. Introduce the 3-number model: points required plus taxes, charges, plus acquisition cost per point.
Yeah, so there's 3 parts to your points booking and points cost. So I guess the reference price is always how much it costs to buy the same ticket with money. Say $10,000 to Los Angeles. So if you use points, there's 3 parts. It's like how many points you need and how much did it cost you to acquire those points. So using our model, you can basically acquire the number of points to fly to Los Angeles for just under $4,000 in transaction costs. Then when it comes time to book the seat, you got to pay ticket taxes. Depending where you fly in the world, taxes range, but going to Los Angeles is only about $500. So that's why you sort of like the 2 components added up together. Some people can earn points for cheaper. So if you happen to be in an industry where you can pay bills to your supplier and your supplier charges you less than 2% or 0 or 1%, whatever, then you have the enviable position of generating points for cheaper, which then that means that your 2 components, cost of points plus ticket taxes, equals lower. That means you get to fly potentially for the lowest price ever. So everyone's different. Like we work out on a maximum cost value. So therefore, even if you don't have anyone that takes your cards with no surcharge, we can work out a way to fly cheaper.
And even with the devaluation, that calculation that we share with people, and it's their own input they put in there in regards to what they're moving, and there's an advanced calculator and not so, as we're still seeing 35 to 45% savings, which is considerable.
Work it out. Yeah, still good.
Here's a bit of a quote, I think. If you don't know all 3 numbers, you're guessing. And I think that's what we're trying to convey here at the Flights Club, is like points shouldn't be a guessing game. Like
it should be a certainty game.
A certainty game, and that's what you've done for 12 years. And as we combine this into a membership, and a lot of the time people are, okay, how do we work with you? And the way I explain it, there's kind of 2 ways. In the past, it's been, I'm time poor. I've got lots of points. I can't find seats. They were generally paying a $1,300 to a $1,900 fee for us to find them seats. And would have some people doing 10 flights a year. So it was anywhere from 13 to 19 grand and booking them flights. And then the other side was the strategy. How do I actually get points to then be able to use your concierge service? That still exists, but what we found when we
combined
met, it's like, how do you bring it together to just actually make it more beneficial? Because points is a continuous game. It doesn't stop. It only continues to evolve. So that's when we met. We kind of pulled a lot together from a community aspect. It's like we're lucky and fortunate to connect with some of Australia's best founders, and so we bring them together at dinners and experiences.
Have fun around it. So the combination is we formed the Flights Club, which is a combination of points earning strategies, and we'll book flights for you, set number of flights, and then also you have events, we have communities. So basically making the whole thing fun, because travel is fun. So we're not just going to be focused on just getting you there, but we want to help you get benefits, like say our partnership with All Core Plus.
I think it's still the biggest membership to this day in Australia, but I still feel like it's such an untapped competitive advantage for business owners, because we're strictly talking business owners here. It was maybe shared as a consumer product, but we use it as a competitive advantage. So maybe share how we use it. We're using it right now here in Sydney.
And the reason why we partnered with All Core Plus Explorer is in our partners, because we're both membership programs and we've both been designed to add more value than the cost of our service. So we both, if you use it well, you're going to save on either program a lot more than the price of entry. So 2 free nights at the core hotels in Asia Pacific. You get 30% off dining up to 10 people, And the idea, what we've done is we've used that as a way to have dinners with our clients and our partners. So we get 10 people together, which is the right size, because any more people, you can't get a chance to speak. Any less, and then sort of feels like, well, there's not enough to run a session. So we have 10, and in the past, we've basically saved the $349 in one night.
I think we were the far. I think we got it on a Thursday, and we think we redeemed it on the Saturday. So we might be up there in regards to getting
Instant
the ROI
ROI
back. But I also, it's actually not just the savings we've had. It's actually those hosted dinners have turned into far more from the partnerships that we've been able
That's
to
the value.
build with the core. And we share this to all the founders listening, is actually make it a priority to go out for dinner. Have like in the world of disconnection through social media and everything, is like book dinners with more people.
And things happen.
And things happen, 100%. And there's a reason and a psychology and a mindset on why a core shifted and researched 7,000 people. It's like, we want people not just to come to the hotel, we want them to come and have an experience. And that's what we literally create a vertical. We have our events there, we host dinners, we stay there. And now we've got great wellness downstairs as well.
It's like an accelerator, like an enabler, where you sort of need a reason to have create these events and run them. Sure, you can run them at any restaurant, but if you don't get a discount, sort of feel like, I guess, is value people, like, why will you go somewhere and not get a discount?
And I think Never Eat Alone, great book to read. Mastermind Dinners is another great one to, human connection and relationships is a powerful thing. So to be able to use all the core as your business competitive advantage,
winning,
and it's tax deductible too. There we go. Where are we going to talk about? Yeah, what's the difference in our memberships? So people ask, what's platinum? What's black?
Yeah.
Want to unpack that?
Yeah, platinum and black. So both platinum and black include our point earning strategy, and it also includes a one-on-one session with me where I talk specifically about how to generate points for you. So therefore you have a clear process going forward. So which business credit card to get, how you pay your ATO, how you pay your payroll. So you have a clear understanding that you're going to, how many points you're going to earn, what fees you're going to pay, and what is the return on investment of doing that. So it actually dispels the myth of people thinking, oh, I don't want to pay fees. But I always say to people, if you can turn 2 cents into 4 cents, how many times will you?
Oh, we'll be off to the markets, cents, right? Mate. Yep.
So that's the same idea. So we include the point strategy. Platinum includes 4 business class return seats booked every year included. If you were to book 4 return seats separately through our ad hoc, that'll be $1,900 per seat. So the booking itself is worth $7,800 already, and then our point strategy is worth $2,000. So in a way, we're giving you about $9,700 a day.
We shot ourselves in the foot, but that's all right.
$6,000 plus
it's all
GST.
about looking after people long term. Like, we have members that have been with you for 10 years and continue to go on. Once you've started to ride the Flights Club bicycle, there's no going back.
And then black, same idea, point strategy, but it includes 10 business class flights booked per year, and that's 10,000 plus GST. So if you are able to earn points and you want to do at least 10 return business class seats, black is the better value because the cost per seat is lower, or platinum is 4. Actually, platinum is our biggest seller because most people do fly, but then actually black is not too far off.
Yeah, no, especially for co-founders. And again, that black membership is for the founders. So sometimes if you've got a family of 2 or 3 people and you're traveling twice a year, it becomes...
You can split points, you can allocate, there's so many things.
And I think that's another myth, is that, we haven't touched on it, is that we try to shift and move people away from being controlled by points, being in one silo, to be in control of your agile portfolio. So how do you have points in a place that you can then move out to 10 different airlines, and then you're in control of the trade?
It's like investment. Diversification is the key.
Yeah.
So we're bringing that same philosophy. Actually, a lot of the things we do around points is the same philosophy as financial planning and investment, because points are an asset. You're effectively acquiring these points as an asset, whether you pay for it or you're not. and then those assets can be converted into future seats. So in my mind, I see it as an asset, and then it's like, how do you manage the asset to get biggest bang for buck?
Here's some key lines to repeat. I'm literally reading off the sheet here. It's not a seat problem, it's a constraints problem. So again, if you're here at Flights Club and think points are going to completely replace your business meeting schedule of flights having to go on this time and back on that time, this is not the solution. But it is the solution when you have capacity on certain business trips to have plus or minus a day, or be able to fly one way on an airline and come back on the other. So it's a yes and, I think. And then the one airline, one program, one date is how people convince themselves it's impossible.
And I think it's just about thinking about it is going with the flow of how points work. Mm-hmm. If you can, you win every time. If you are still thinking about trying to shovel cash booking system into your points, then you'll fail. So I think that's just the way all our clients have worked out. We're actually making it the slight shift to work with points equals big winnings, big savings, and they win.
And I think as we wrap things up here is the ultimate vision that me and Steve continue to... there's a reason why this is called the Always Business Class, because me and Steve, it's always business class, both inside the studio, outside the studio, celebrating on Australia Day in the Sydney Harbour. Is the vision really is about bringing more Australian founders on the journey, this points journey, this travel experience journey, and unlocking the unlockable, really. Yeah,
unlocking them more comfort, more frequency, so therefore they can go more places more often. Which are always a big believer that whenever you go overseas, you see things, smell things, do things, and you bring back something amazing, either to your business or to your family, that if you didn't go, you just absolutely have no idea about.
Travel is one of the things that just have, as you say all the time, is when you come back from a travel experience, no one ever has a bad time. They come back with learnings, they come back with awareness, new perspectives. Like, how many times have we had the great ideas happen when we go traveling?
You always guarantee to come back happier than you left.
So if we can just get more Australian founders and families traveling more, then that's our vision. And being able to unlock, that's the big thing. And
unlock and bring more joy. So our mantra is, if we can get you traveling more, you come back happier. If you come back happier, other things happen.
And experiences as well, like Antarctica. We're heading down there in 2027. So a big thing for us is, how do we curate incredible, life-changing experiences that are just not the back of the brochure? Like, we actually spend time, energy, and effort in regards to, like, what do our members want? Is it that sport experience that they can travel with their friends to do a once-off golf safari in Africa? Yes, we can make it happen.
It's all about
enabling access, I think, is, and people buying back their time. That's why they join the Flights Club.
Thanks very much, Steve, for dispelling some myths. And if you got more questions, we're here to answer them. So send them through, book a discovery call. There'll be many more of this, because one of the aims of this podcast is really help you understand about points, help you understand travel, and interview great Australian founders as well. So bringing you a bit of, something different to what's in the landscape.
Here's to the next 150 discovery calls.
Cool, man.
Thanks.